For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the E.T. Stand Podcast.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Tonight's the night when all of you E.T. Stand maniacs, you get to prove a point. We'll be dropping elbows and some home truths harder than the Hulkster from 1987. That's right, I'm your host, David Hulkamania, and I've been saying my prayers, taking my vitamins, and watching those game tapes, brother. I am here with the new World Order of Cronulla Sharks podcast, and brother, these men right here, Lats is here with his 24-inch python, that's not with an S, to give us all of the social news. Franco is here because he's here to prove a point, and Williams is back for another heel turn, and tonight I'll be dropping a leg on all the Sharks players with my Hollywood Hulk Hogan-themed Sharks player tier. So Chris Kelly, what you gonna do when Boldo, Lats, Franco, and Williams and the black, white, and blue run wild all over you? How was that intro?
Still got to keep a straight face, didn't you?
In going, what is going on? What podcast did I hit tonight?
Well, that's true. You might be watching that. This is the ET Stand podcast, and a few of us are quite keen wrestling fans, so there'll be a few Hulk Hogan themed references in tonight, and we do have the player tiers later tonight, so it will be Hulk Hogan themed opponents. Joining us is the regulars, Lats, Williams, Franco, and Kelly. Williams has been away for a little bit, so we're looking forward to his carry on, whether he's as angry as he was post-match after that diabolical attack. We'll find out. The comparisons to that Souths match that he pointed out from 2006 will also be interesting. If you're new to the channel, this is the ET Stand. We're a bunch of mates that just talk footy about our beloved Cronulla Sharks post-match. Do hit the subscribe button, but better yet, give us a like as well. And then also, it's our show, but it's your show. So get involved in the comments as well and let us know what you're thinking about our takes. Are the Sharks going to win on the weekend? What do you think of the attack woes? We're going to try and work out the solution to that. And as Toilet Inspector is commenting here, we're also going to talk about Chad Townsend's retirement at the end of the show. We're also available on delay on all good audio platforms. So it's not just YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can catch us on Apple Pod, Spotify, and all those other ones on delay. So shout out to our audio legends. And we've also got a Discord channel, which is live on the Go Sharks chat. So if you want to talk to other Sharks fans and see all the current news and happenings, get amongst it. The link for that one's in the bio. But beyond that, let's get into the Sharks news, my dear friend, Mr. Latino, as we add the Sharks news to the stage. Let's get into it, buddy. This segment is brought to you by Miranda Hotel. Looking for a great place. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button. Looking for a great place to watch the NRL. Get down to the largest screen in the Shire down at Miranda Hotel. They have $7 schooners still going. $12 margs for all Sharks games for the whole game. They also have, before we get into this, Chris, they've got an ink and drink event coming up where you can go down there and get a fake tattoo or like a tattoo drawn on you as like a test fun thing. So maybe I can go down and actually there's no way I'm going down and getting an ET Stand podcast on my butt cheek.
I could see you with a Mike Tyson face tattoo, Boldo.
Yep. Can't see that happening either. Okay, let's get into it, Lats. What's going on with the Sharkies?
All right, there are big concerns around the socials for our lack of attack and predictable, boring style of football that we have been playing of late. Fans feel we squandered countless opportunities against the Bunnies. With an extra man on the field with White and Sinbinning, they wanted plenty more points on the board. In saying that, Bunnies did rally and their defence was rock solid. Jai Gray's return only bolstered that. Look, what worries me, gents, we've got this very soft run into the finals. We need to really put these teams away. We come up against these lower-ranked teams that we should be easy wins. They never are. We should be preparing for these games like they're top four teams and put them to the sword. But we saw it happen against the Roosters a couple of weeks ago in Gosford and nearly got rolled by a very understrength Bunnies outfit. But it is concerning, boys.
The attack woes certainly are concerning. Well, we're dedicating an entire segment to the attack woes. So get your thoughts into the comments. What do you think of the Sharks' current attack woes? Are we as much in trouble as some of us think?
I just love that picture, lads. You've done yourself well, mate. Each time I look at that,
It could be used for many topics. But anyway, we'll.
So that photo was taken for the benefit of those on audio. If you Google search David Bolderman, I'm pretty sure you can get that photo of me. It was at a Cosmopolitan photo shoot, and I was looking all suited up. And obviously, that's not the image. That's his AI.
Yes.
Too many. We won't go into that, mate. That was later in the evening.
So anyway, other than that, look, other fallout. I just saw that Jack Whiten got suspended for a couple of weeks. He had it coming, so tough. Thanks
4
for
weeks.
coming.
Lost
Not
to the
only
judiciary.
suspended, but found guilty in the judiciary. So they fought it. Could have been 3 weeks. They fought it. Unanimous decision. We got 4 weeks done. So that inside arm wrapping around is a bit of rubbish.
That's true. All right, on to the next.
All right, another contentious issue across the socials this week is the incompetent officiating, and especially around Sharp on field and Klein in the bunker during our game over the weekend. Losing count of tackles is inexcusable, and fans have been calling for Sharp to be dropped this week. She looked quite rattled over there when that took place, not to mention several other calls, i.e. forward passes. Sending that last try up as a try. That demotion came to fruition this afternoon when news broke Sharp had been demoted to sideline duties given consecutive subpar performances. Look, Klein's competence in the bunker was also discussed quite a lot in the socials, fans pointing out that we seem to be on the wrong side of the 50-50 calls on regular occasions. Sharkies fans demand better. However, I don't feel we'll be as lucky in seeing Klein relegated.
I didn't think she was as bad at first watch, but then sitting there hosting the debrief, she got absolutely hammered by the Sharks fans. Look, we don't like to be ref bashers on this show. There's a dial-in or two that happens to come in from time to time. Matty, why don't you give us your take on that refereeing performance?
Consistency is key, and I'm going to blame Sharp here. I'm going to blame just interpretations. That's what's sent up for a knock-on in the ruck, and then Ashley Klein says, he still had a finger on it, as Franco put in the Discord channel. The ball was still rolling, had a finger on it, and then I think let go of it and picked it up and then carried on, and that's not a knock-on. It's not rugby union. Like, it's just, since when has that ever been fine? And that's the scrutiny. So there's a 6 again rule that they get away with. And then there's also the fact that the amount of stuff that gets turned up either as a try and gets confirmed a try, and really it's not, or it goes up as a captain's challenge and they save face. We saw it the week before at the Roosters game, which clearly somehow was it? Yeah, they claimed it a knock on when it couldn't have done anything other than gone backwards. Was it the Trindle one, kind of tunnel ball?
The
McInnes, yeah, straight through. So it seems to be the NRL saving face. I'm not sure if it's a stats thing or what regarding decisions overturned or supported, but it seems like a self-licking ice cream that they just continue to defend themselves.
Alrighty, after coming off a tight loss, their second bye of the season, our Jersey Flegg squad look to make amends as they take on the 6th-place Bulldogs outfit at Belmore Sports Ground at 12:30 p.m. this Sunday. A Harrotti hat-trick helped see the Jets get their season back on track over the weekend, taking down the Merge 40 points to 16 at Henson Park on Saturday. Tries also to Kyle Pickering, Jordan Liu, Christian Dixon, Michael Gabriel and Jaden Beryl. Puru slotting 4 of 8 proved way too much for the Dargans. The win cemented the boys in the top 4, and they go on to play the 7th-place Bulldogs at Belmore Sports Ground at 3 p.m. this Saturday.
Looked a terrific time down there at Newtown. I watched most of that game, and also because I'm an avid watcher of the Newtown Jets. Harrotti looked good, but it is a class below the NRL, isn't it? So you can't really go banking on Harrotti coming into the Sharks first grade team to solve our attacking problems, can you, lads?
Look, mate, to be honest, I was hoping we would see him in there. And given Toby Rudolph not being in this week, I was hoping he'd slot into centre and give us a bit more punch back on the bench with Talakai. Still could happen. But I thought he played well enough, scored a nice little hat-trick back from injury. And we know he's done a job for us in the top grade before. And, maybe they just want to give him a couple more games under his belt.
Yeah, Chris, I'll get you to respond to this. In the NFL, they have college players who can be very good college players and standout performers. However, that lift and jump into the NFL, some of the players just simply can't make it. And Harrotti might just be one of them, mightn't he, Chris?
Yeah, look, there's a few players, obviously, you watch a bit of reserve grade and guys just carve out their career living there. And that's why if you go to Super League is a better option. But there's some guys that just that's their career. They're stuck in reserve grade. Opportunity comes along at other clubs, but most of the time, a lot of guys just like a Billy Magoulias. We thought he was an absolute superstar the last couple of years in reserve grade and never really made that jump. So look, Hirotti's handy. You know, he's turned lats around, so surely he's got something there.
I'd say he certainly handled himself in first grade this year.
Except he couldn't jump when he was injured, but that was probably more the injury fault.
We are talking about Galore here, aren't we?
Ooh.
Marwina, right?
Flashback to Vegas.
The,
Okay, all right.
Sorry, mate.
All right. Yeah, that's all right.
The
Some jokes just don't die, do they, Matty? Some jokes are just still funny. It's like ending the stream and Galore and Marwina Roddy.
The NRLW squad took down a spirited Tigers team at Sharks Stadium on Sunday, 20 points to 16. Cassie Staples opened our account in the second minute with tries also to Manolita Takapatolo, bagging her first try in the top grade. Georgia Ravics, another late one to Staples, with Korea Ratu kicking at 50%. Caesar Girls jumped to fifth on the ladder, and they go on to play the second place Broncos in Magic Round, McDonald Jones Stadium at 4:15 p.m. this Saturday.
The winger for the Tigers, oh goodness me, what was her name? Caitlin Turnbull. She was good. She literally cut the Sharks in half twice, scoring tries. It was amazing. She was an absolute gun. She's like the Tigers' top try scorer in the NRLW, and she's only played 3 matches. She's incredible. Sign her, Sharks.
I know this one will curl Franco's moustache. Exciting young Canberra fullback at Sharks Junior, Chevy Stewart, has been given the green light by Canberra to negotiate with rival clubs as Canberra try to find funds to lock down a couple of their stalwarts whose contracts are up at season's end. Stewart's path is currently blocked by KO Weeks, and he's looking for a starting fullback spot. Both Sharks and the Dargans are watching closely. However, he would still be in the same position at St George behind Gutho and would be a much better fit back home with the Sharks. However, Mal Meninga also mentioned post-game that the mail he has is that Kennedy's close to re-signing. Regardless, I'd love to have him back at the club. He's an exciting young prospect and maybe just what we are lacking. Thoughts?
I'd take him back in a heartbeat. We know that our cap isn't quite as flexible at the moment. So, a young kid that hasn't proven himself in first grade yet, get him at a cheapish deal. Let him fight it out with Ison and see what we go. We get the 2 best young fullbacks coming through the grade, get them back in the same club, bit of competition, really see what we've got there. I think that would do us the world of good.
I think that's a pretty good take, Franco. Certainly players that want to play for the Sharks, we want to get that going on. Let's get through the comments. So if you do want to get into the Discord channel, Franco has thrown up the link there. It is in the comments. Cecil in the comments saying, good evening, gents. Great to see the whole panel in. Yeah, I should have made comment of that. It is great to see the whole panel in. Try and get the whole panel in as we march towards another premiership. Harley says, Chad Townsend has retirement in 2016 premiership winner. Yes, we'll talk about Chad later in the show. SJD giving a bit of a hard time to that referee. Belinda Sharp literally missed that last tackle. That wasn't her finest moment. That's for sure. And then coming out and saying the coach, saying Roddy is way too good for that comp. Now, you know what's funny? SJD and everyone, we have this ongoing joke that SJD is the coach of the Sharks. And I've had a couple of people actually ask me, is SJD actually the coach? And I'm here to confirm that SJD actually is the coach of the Sharks, and it is. No, it's not Craig Fitzgibbon, but it would be funny. Isn't it amazing, Franco?
It's pretty good. I like the power of suggestion. He comes out with some pretty good takes, but no, I don't believe he is Craig Fitzgibbon. But you never know. Could be Craig.
You never know. He could be
eager every week, every Tuesday, every debrief.
Yep. Can I just say to you, Franco, you smartass, is that people did ask me and when did I switch from being a Dragons fan to a Sharks fan because of you? I literally had people asking me about it, you cheeky little SHIT. So good job. Good banter. You'll keep.
The truth will set you free, Boldo.
Good. 2.0 saying Roddy not the first bloke to turn lats around. Probably shouldn't have shown that comment.
Anyway.
I did
There
throw
you
that.
go. SJD, speaking of jokes that never die, you can't spell Hiroti without hero. Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
And, oh,
Very
goodness
good.
me. All right, let's get into the next segment, shall we? Goodness me, this show's funny sometimes. All right, the forecast into the future and analysis is brought to you by Morgans at Cronulla. For all of your stockbroking needs, give Chris and Charles a call. They are very attentive and very caring and absolute legends for anything you might need for all of your investments. The Sharks last week, 58% possession, 36 missed Rabbits tackles. The Rabbits made 100 more tackles than the Sharks. Sharks made 500 more attack meters and only 2 Sharks tries. And what the worst thing is for Franco and Williams is it is just more fuel for the argument that the Sharks should always take the 2 because, well, they can't really score tries now, can they? Chris, what have the other teams got that the Sharkies don't seem to have an attack? What are we missing?
Well, it's definitely not the 2 because the West Tigers took the 2 on the weekend against Penrith, and that was the only points they put up, and they lost 38-2. So we can
I'd be glad that they scored some points then, better than a 0.
The 2 in the first 10 minutes, and that's all they got for the rest of the game. I don't know. Look, I was beyond frustrated watching the game. I had a few tantrums. I had about 15 beers by that stage as well. Look, I thought Nico could have walked in a try. I thought we blew a lot of opportunities that were there. But then having a bit of clarity during the week and copped a bit of stick today from some other supporters, I actually went back and thought, well, you know what? The Warriors are playing at home and they're pushing for a top 4 spot. And the teams of all teams, the Titans come back from 10-0 down after 10 minutes and beat them in New Zealand. Parramatta massively upset Brisbane and we took a win. So I'd rather take the 2 points at this stage. So it's not more what other teams are doing. We're in that Fitzy mode of let's just go through the motions and be happy we're out. And I guarantee it's exactly what his halftime speech would have been was, guys, we've got the possession. Don't be impatient. Just keep going. It'll turn around. And we went from there. And really, we talked on Belinda Sharp's errors. The 2 tries came off a horrible last-second call that shouldn't have been a try and a 6-again call where it was a Falcon. It was the only time South scored. So, yeah, our attack is a little bit off, but, you know, I'll still take a 2 points because we were playing at Gosford on a Saturday night and, you know, let's move on for 2 points. I'll take the rosy approach.
Matty, how much worse can this attack get?
You'd think not much worse than the other day, but there's always that chance that it could. If we lose a key player or 2, I mean, if we lose Nico or Trindle, would Atkinson help? He's the next man up. He's performed last year, but I don't think so. The Knights game last year exposed that. So the answer is it could get worse. And I think that the frustrating part the other day was the inability to have a plan B. So obviously Souths under Bennett, they're always well drilled against us. That very first Dolphins game against us a few years ago where they rushed us, gave us no time. Same thing was happening again today. And we didn't mix it up. No one put a grubber in apart from Brayley, as Franco said the other night, one grubber that copped a ricochet. No other attempts for that. No other attempts to try different shapes or putting players in motion or all the other things that you can do to try and, I suppose, take the heat out of a rushing defence that South kept getting up for. And that's the frustrating thing that Fitz and the team seem to just double and triple down on the original plan, which is defendable. And the better teams will defend it better. Penrith's already done it against us in the past. Obviously, we scored 3 tries back in round 1, but if we played them again in the finals, I wouldn't be confident about scoring many, if any. So, yeah, it could get worse.
You mentioned Daniel Atkinson coming in if we had a halves injury. We've actually got a pretty serious number of outside backs and key attacking player injuries as it is. And it's not like Sione Katoa is 100% fit. We've been playing injured players. Kale Iro was proven to be our top try scorer. Ronnie looks a little bit underdone. Talakai wasn't expecting to have to play centre. We know Ramia never passes. So there's a bit there, isn't there, Matty? I think we are missing some guys.
Oh, we're missing guys. And yes, cohesion is a key part of that. And there's been forced changes. And Katoa, he had 2 ankle knocks the other night or looked like he was struggling there. So, yeah, we were missing Nikora. Yeah, but there's Billy Burns has played enough games this year now. We've had enough disruption that I think we should be able to cope with it, especially against essentially a reserve grade team. We should be able to cope with it and we should be able to handle them. And we didn't. Yeah, okay, Nico had a try, basically held up, was a try-saving tackle, and we butchered a few others. But, Yeah, it is frustrating. It's a game you got to treat as a loss, even though we got the 2 points, which, as Kelly said, it was great that we got 2 points, but I think we're all asking for a hell of a lot more.
Cecil Franco in the comments says, after the set restart close to their line, 1 crash play followed by another crash play, 3 tackle, 2 passes onto an edge to 4 to score. What's Fitzy got to do? He needs some more moves. He needs some John Morris moves, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, okay. So I guess like you guys touched on it there with having some people out. So last week was me. Let's obviously not going to give him a pass, but we were missing Talakai late just before the kickoff through illness. Nikora was out because of the head knock. So they're both pretty dominant ball runners that create space for other team members. Talakai with his silky hands is also pretty dangerous as well. So there's options there that we lost and weren't available to us during that Rabbits match. So we'll see what happens this week. Maybe it turns everything around and we just go, oh, we've always had great attack. Who knows? That said, yeah, you mentioned John Morris. I think it's funny because anecdotally, there was an interview, and this was last year. Someone was interviewing Sione Katoa about his fancy put downs in the corner, and they talked about.
It was on Sharkcast.
Was it on Sharkcast? The acrobatic put downs and things, and asked about, do you put out the crash pads and dive in the corner and test it out? And he's like, oh no. John Morris, we used to do that with him, but since Fitzy, we don't practice that anymore. I'm just good at it.
Which is remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I reckon that's not a good indictment on your Fitz. Come on.
But it just goes to show we know we've got a defensive-minded or defensive-orientated coach with 2 defensive-orientated assistant coaches. So defense is where they're going. If our defense is rock solid, then we'll see what happens. But unfortunately, our defense isn't great at times. But that's where they're focusing. Safety first, defense first, and points will come. Now, you know what? We've been in the top 4 a couple of times under Fitzy's reign. We were high in the 8. The other one that we weren't in the top 4. We're going to be in the 8 this year, I reckon. It is working and getting us to finals. Is it what's going to get us to the grand prize at the end, though? That's the only difference, as Williams talked about. Cracking those stronger defensive teams is something that we're going to struggle against unless we do something. Now, who knows? Maybe we've got a few trick plays up our sleeves, but I think they are focusing on defense. We were a bit leaky middle of the season. That seems to have been plugged up a bit. Let's see if we can work out a couple of plays with options and see how we go. Obviously not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but it doesn't look good.
It may sound like an indictment. It may sound like indictment fits at not having the crash pads, though, but it might just be a case of Katoa. It was during his formative years under Morris that he was doing that. It's a very winger-specific thing. It's like halves practicing kicking or goal kickers practicing goal kicking. It's a special teams kind of training session. So maybe Ronnie and Katoa, they've met their technical mastery with regards to.
Are they better at it now than they were 3 years ago? I don't think they are as good
I'd say
I don't know
just
if they are.
as good. Katoa's finish against the Dolphins was as good.
He had the good one against the Panthers last season, didn't he?
Yeah, that one in that the prelim final was as good as you'll ever see. So
wasn't he good?
Haven't we statistically proven as well that, and Fitzgibbon may have confirmed this, maybe in Vegas as well, that our attack in 22, 23, 24, 25's to be confirmed, but those 3 years were better than all the John Morris years. I think we did prove that on a previous episode. We parked that, but we're talking wistfully about Morris, but I'm not sure if it's helpful. I think
it's definitely not helpful. It's just a bit of tongue in cheek. There's a couple of points, Matty, that we just go over on this show multiple times. One is Franco and my love of Morris, and then the other one is my constant battle with the rest of you, other than Lats, about the 1.8 and taking the 2. It's just another one of those. It's just another chapter in that story. All right, Lats, let's go through these comments, and you can help me respond to these. Stuart Campbell in the comments says, Bloke in a bar had a pretty good take on Sharks attack. Trindle not had a great start to the season or great season so far. No killer instinct and no pressure on the players' positions. If you think back to Trindle Lats in that match against the Cowboys last season, and yeah, Chris is saying it, Lats is the big fan of the don't sign people up and get them on 1-year deals. Trindle's just not been as good.
No, he hasn't, mate. And look, what I've seen the last few weeks, I think he's letting Nico try to take the reins a bit more. But he's just not overplaying his hand. And I want him to step up and overplay his hand. He needs to have a crack. He needs to set things up and gauge when Nico's not, or when Nico's getting found out. And it's that game, he absolutely destroyed the Cowboys single-handedly. Like, where is that? Where's the consistency? Does he feel he's paid his debt back to the club? I don't know. Is he just sailing along? But I am a big fan of paying back loyalty, and you know how I am around the contracts, that these players, you want that consistency after they've signed a contract and that integrity. I just don't know where it's gone. It's unfortunate because we're really suffering at the moment, and the fans aren't happy.
Well, other people have also, this one's come up a lot, 2.0 commenting here. I will say this, we have nobody in the team that plays off the cuff because we have nobody that has any speed around the ruck or the halves. And Nico just seems to have lost that speed since that injury, doesn't he, as well? So, speed, we used to see it with Damien Cook and some of those other guys. They're so good. Next comment, Chris, I'll get you.
Speed is just another reason why putting Nico to fullback is a
dumb idea.
Myth that should be gone.
Dumb idea. Chris, I'll get you to respond to this comment. Chris Kelly's commenting, saying that we haven't seen much chat about how much we've missed Talakai. Was that actually you or someone using your account?
Probably someone using my account, but
I was going to say, Chris Kelly responding to Chris Kelly here.
Just make sure they're not using your sports bet account.
Sending money to the the Nigerian consulate, and they've got all of his passwords.
I mean, I can multitask, not that well.
I was trying to work out what's going on. Well, shout out to the Kelly family member.
Hi, Zach.
Yeah,
back on the show, Zach.
I guess we are missing. We did. Talakai's like a key guy, isn't he, Chris? We are missing him.
Yeah, especially those, like we mentioned before, the silky hands. Yeah, it was a bit of a miss. We still got the Ramian crab play, which isn't helping us, and there's no offloads at Katoa. But I will say this, Franco, I saw an interview with Metcalf tonight, and he said he hasn't learned as much as he ever has. He's gone to the Warriors under Webster than any other previous coach. So it was a bit of a dig there from him back to his Sharks days. So he's learnt the most he ever has in his career here at the Warriors. So,
but Webster's considered a halfback coach. The Waz Up TV guys chat about him all the time, about how good he is. He's like that Kevin O'Connell or whatever he is from the Vikings, like the quarterback whisperer. He's like a gun halves coach.
But in saying that as well, like we've all picked on Nico's running game, and probably in the last 3 weeks it's picked up. Where's Trindle's running game? I haven't seen that guy take on the line at all. Like you said, last year he tore up the Cowboys, and where's that? Like he was backing up on the wing in that game. Like he's just not there. Like he's not even.
It wasn't isolated.
Yeah, he's not even just. He's a 6. He's not a buddy sit back and DC 7 and kick the ball. Like
he had a couple of runs. I think he almost got to the try line in one of them actually. But it is.
He's not.
And look at
he's running. When he runs, it's because he's ran out of options. There's either people out of position or missing their mark, and so then he's just left to run. He's not running because he's seen something that's spurred him on, which is not right.
And like in that comment, like there's no eyes up. He's not doing it. He's not even doing that.
Do we pay him too much, Franco?
Oh, I mean, I don't think so. Halves get a fairly good go these days. And he was an established first grader in the team. If he'd have left, who would we have replaced him with? Atkinson was already gone. It's a bit thin out there to go chase someone of note. It was probably the right fair value to hang on to him. You spoke about length of contract. Maybe that was a lever we could have pulled, but no, it was a good value contract.
We got him for 600 when the media was talking him up, saying he should be a mil. And with Dylan Brown on 1.4 at the form he had last year, you'd argue probably 800 or 900. So I think we got him for a steal at 600. You'd like to
Speaking
play
of
a-
media,
pay a-
actually, I didn't put this in, and I should have put it in. Sharks fans, do not overreact to the Blake Brayley signing stuff. Goodness me, I saw that article on Zero Tackle about, sign him now and do this and do this. Guys, they're negotiating. Like, they shouldn't be going in. And so it is an agent media beat up, if ever I've seen one, about the social media stuff. And what you don't want to do as Sharks fans, and then maybe this is why we didn't put it as a discussion point. Don't pressure the team into making a dumb signing for too much money, a pressure signing like Josh Dugan and Sean Johnson when we lost Valentine. Those were pressure signings that weren't quite right, were they, Franco? And I think we're still kind of paying the price for those signings 7 years later. So let's don't inflate Brayley's dollar figure yet. He is not the best player in the NRL right now. He wouldn't necessarily make the Australian team. He's good, but just cool your jets, Chris. You want to respond? You think he would make the Australian team?
Oh, I'd probably take him over Reece Robson, but he's not going to outclass Harry Grant. But if they're taking a tour over, he's probably getting a spot at the moment.
Well, they might take Ben Hunt.
Can have
All right, fair enough. Matty, give us a final say on the Sharks attacking woes, mate. Give us a close of this segment.
It was a 2.0, had a comment in there saying that'll come good. So we put 24 on the Dolphins, we put 31 on the Roosters, we put 28 on the Broncos, and we probably should have put a few more on each of those. The Dolphins game, we scored 2 late tries, so we only had 14 points up until, was it the 72nd, 75th minute, whatever it was. But we got a few more in there. The Roosters game was good. And the Broncos game, we won't speak any more of that. The team has the ability to score points against the right defense, which sounds terrible. Styles make fights. I think if we can find the ability to change things up, then maybe we can. But if we continue to play one-dimensional, if we continue to be, I suppose, stubborn and not adjust, and that's the frustration, I think my key frustration anyway, is the inability for the team to adjust. Things like Colhoun playing for 8 minutes, things like the other night, Hohepa being unlocked and playing for whatever it was, 10 minutes. It's frustrating. And I think that still needs to improve. And I'm not sure how or if it will, but if it does, it gives us a better opportunity.
All right, let's move on to the Cowboys preview. The Cronulla Sharks, somehow on a 3-game winning streak. Welcome the rebuilding North Queensland Cowboys to Shark Stadium on Sunday afternoon at 4:05 p.m. The prior game to the main game kickoff, it starts at 1:40 p.m. It's a Harrigan Cup match between De La Salle and Collagens. I'll be there live in the ET stand watching this one. The Sharks, I'm doing the record and the history for you, Williams, because you've been away for a couple of weeks and I just got used to doing it. So I wrote it up myself. The Sharks have an excellent record of late against the Cowboys with 13 wins from 15 matches. That notable loss in week 1 of that semi-final still annoys us. The Cowboys, well, they've been in a run of bad form with 6 losses from their past 7, with the only bright spot being a win against the Titans. On both sides of that, they've got losses to the Dolphins, Dogs, Storm, Roosters, Dolphins again, and the Storm again, which would seem to indicate that they're okay against the crap teams, but they can't seem to do anything against the top team. So I wonder where we will sit. You'd hope so that we would be able to beat them. Last time the Sharks played them, the Sharks won 36-12. It had that amazing Falcon try to the Cowboys, if you remember that one, where they kicked it and it just hit the guy in the head. Then when you watch that one back, I tell you what's telling is the speed of the backline moves from Kale Iro and Sam Stonestreet, which we don't seem to have now. The Sharks attack against a weaker team. I think they're going to do them here. The Cowboys were closer in that game last time than it looked, but that disallowed try that they had, and then Kennedy also saved him as well, kind of with the 2 key points. So I'm expecting a Sharks win. I'm putting my tip out there and just doing it first and giving you my entire diatribe through all of the stuff. Matty, I've stolen your bit, so why don't you take us through the team list?
Sure.
Is there anything else you want to add? I thought my history was pretty good.
Well, good team list there. Number 1, Emma.
Oh, it's the wrong team list.
Otherwise known as Bill Kennedy.
I was waiting for you to notice.
How about we?
Jesus.
Thank you. Anything to
No,
add?
hold on.
That we've played him 60 times. Sorry, Kelly, what were you saying? Sorry, mate.
You should know off by heart anyway. It's the same team.
Yeah, Control C,
every time.
Control C, Control V. Anyway, what's that adage? You should never specialize. So I'll let Boldo do my job, and I'll do the tiers next time. Sounds good.
Do you want to do the tiers next time, Matty? We can do that.
I don't know. I don't have any Boldermans to talk to. No, it's okay. No, it's all good.
There's enough Williamses.
There are some Williamses. Ronan will give
There's
his
enough
2
Williamses.
cents. 2 cents.
You can
All I
imagine.
will say is that if you're going to compare histories, and this is a bit of a segue here, but the Cowboys came in 1995 alongside the Warriors and the Crushers, and it was the other team, the Reds. And at that point in their history, with their 30 years on, we were in our history 1997 playing the Super League Grand Final, but still no premiership. So the Cowboys, who did have a bit of a rough opening to their first 15 years of their history or so, did eventually crack it before we did, and they've been quite the rival despite what the 13 wins from 15 matches may indicate. They've given us a good run over that time, including plenty of finals matches. So this is the 61st clash. We've won 40, they've won 20 total overall. But the team, back line of Kennedy, Cattell, Rami and Talakai, Mulatalo, halves of Trindle, Hines, front row, Fanua Blake, Brayley, Kafusi, Fanua Blake with an Achilles concern, which has me very concerned. Achilles, yeah, they are not only season destroyers, they can knock you out for 18 months. So I hope they are managing that, because they have very tricky injuries. Back row of Nickera, Wilton, McInnes, the captain. The bench, Atkinson, Colquhoun, Burns, Hamlin, Welly. An extended bench that includes Tom Hazelton and Sam Stonestreet. And the coach, of course, is SJD.
What do we make of that team? I guess that's the team they got to pick, isn't it? Williams.
Yeah, I think so. Well, apart from Atkinson again. But yeah, I think that's basically the team that we've got. It'd be nice. I'm not sure how far away Iro is. Is someone saying that it's not far away? Obviously, Hazelton's close to being back as well.
I think Hazelton's closer than they might be letting on. He was training last week when I stalked them at the Shark Park last week.
I still wouldn't mind seeing Hiroti in there at centre and Talakai dropping back to the bench in the absence of Toby.
Really?
I think we'll be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would. He's awesome in centres, mate. He's a strong centre. He's a strong runner of the ball. And I think we'll be a bit better this week in attack. We've got Nickera back. But, mate, Hiroti, I've been turned. I was gonna tip us Boldo until you mentioned the streak word.
I'll say that again.
I was going to tip us until you mentioned the streak word 5 minutes ago.
What, the streak of us winning 3 in a row, or the good performance against the Cowboys, the double streak?
The 3 in a row, the double. I hope they cancel each other out.
Yeah. All right, Stewie Campbell in the comments says the bench is too small as it is currently. Franco, that comment around moving Talakai out of the centres and onto the bench to increase the size of the bench and get Hiroti or someone else in, is that even worth considering? Or do we bring in Tommy?
It sure
is. What do you do?
Yeah, look, Hiroti had a great week. If he's fit and healthy, which it looks like he is, Lats could be on the money. Similar to last week with Vela and the extended bench. We'll obviously see the day before or the morning of when the extended bench drops to 2. I would not be surprised to see Hiroti and Hazelton as the last 2 standing, because the bench is kind of light on there with Atkinson and Billy Burns. I will say that Billy Burns certainly has shown in the past when he comes off the bench that he does what needs to be done, but I still don't really think he's an impact player. I think he's better on the field for 80 minutes. So that combined with Daniel Atkinson means we're not really going to get a lot of punch when AFB or Oregon come off the field. The last few weeks we've been really relying on Toby with his barnstorming runs and high energy, and we're not going to get that this game. So we need to see someone who's willing to do that, do those kamikaze runs. And looking at the bench, Hamlin Ueli, he might do it. You never know. It's sort of Jekyll and Hyde with him, right? He turns up and he floors everyone, or he's rambling along and dropping the ball. Who knows what Hamlin Ueli we're going to get. So look, I'm going to say I'm happy for Tom Hazelton to come in and Talakai to the bench with Hiroti into the centres. I think that's two changes there that would make that team look pretty good.
Not bad. Lads, what are you expecting from the Sharkies this weekend?
Look, mate, I think we'll be better. I think, as I said, with Nickera back in the team, I think that right edge will be a lot better, a lot sharper. But yeah, I want that punch off as Franco mentioned, that punch off the bench, and I can't see it from the name side. I think there will be a couple of late changes, and I think we might see Hiroti in the centres and Talakai back to the bench, and see Big Tommy come in would be good.
All right, let's go through this Cowboys team, Chris.
The yellow.
Yeah, well, look, it's your assistant, Chris, that does it in that yellow. And screw you, Cowboys. You get the shitty, crappy yellow look because you tried to steal Parramatta's colours and sometimes our colours. Bug you.
Well, lucky for Boldo that got banned. I can read any team list anyway without any colour because I watch all the games. The Cowboys go for quarter at fullback, Derby, Purdue, Labour, and Braden Burns, Jake Clifford, and Tom Didden in the halves. You got Harrison Edwards starting at number 8, Reece Robson at 9. You got Griffin Neem, John Bateman, Josh Papali, but it's not. It's been me on my favourite player. Jeremiah Nanai, Ruben Cotter with the bench of I can't remember how to say this guy's name. Budagain. It's a young player on debut. Laris, O'Donnell, and Cohen Hess, and my doppelganger Todd Payton as the coach. So, yeah,
it's got to be Batungan, doesn't it? How would you say it, Franco? Let's all have a go. I go Batungan.
You know, I actually know how it's pronounced, but being put on the spot now, I'm going to butcher it. Batunga.
I'm going with Michigan.
Boldo, where do you... Hang on, Boldo, seeing how I supposedly don't watch all the games and don't know all the players, where do you think he comes from?
Oh, we're going to hear a lot about this.
Marley Batungan, I think he comes from
North Sydney.
Logan.
I think he's a New Zealander or a Pacific Islander or something like that.
No. Williams want to have a crack?
I don't know this. I'm just going to have a crack. I was going to say PNG or South Africa.
Close, but Franco knows the answer. Go ahead.
Is that Zimbabwe?
Correct.
Oh, yes.
Refugee, came out as a young lad and has...
What a story.
That's just for you, mate, in case you're listening.
We know who that's for in case you're listening. All right, so Butungane. Butungane?
Yeah.
Started in the wings and moved his way into the centre of the field. Hopefully he does well, the young fella. It's not too well.
Hopefully not too well. Looking at the rest of this Cowboys team, geez, there's a lot of players that I could pick out and say who the hell are they, as I typically do. Well, but I'm not going to do that. Well, Clifford was playing hooker for ages, wasn't he? Or he was halfback, and they weren't sure where they were putting him, and he was in and out of the team. They're a rebuilding team, the Cowboys aren't. Bateman hasn't been as good. Nanai's not been as... Yeah, they're a bit of a mess, aren't they, Chris?
They are a bit of a mess, a bit of a basket. The problem is they like to be in games that are 36-30. So they have a lot of points in them, but they can see a lot of points. I know if Lats remembers a couple of weeks ago, the Dolphins absolutely tore them up down the right-hand side for about 4 tries in the first half, and the game was all over. They kept opening the door for the Dragons to come back last week as well and snuck away with that one. So a lot of high scoring, but not a lot of defense as well. So they do have the attack. Jake Clifford has re-signed, so he looks like he's going to cement that spot. Tom Dearden's been on absolute fire. But yeah, their centres and sort of halves are sort of been in and out with Derby there and Purdue's switching around. And they obviously lost Taulagi for a couple of weeks due to his hamstring. But yeah, they've got the points. John Bateman's been absolutely god-awful since he come back from his little stint in England. So, it's just one of those things where they have the ability to score a lot, but they absolutely concede so many points. So hopefully our attack opens up against this team, but we'll see.
All right, fellas, let's get your tips in. We'll start with you, Maddie.
Did you guys say I looked him up? So Tanzania was where he's born. So I got an him. Sorry for me saying Rhodesia there. That's those playing home. I think the Sharks, hopefully something maybe by 12. No confidence.
Get your tips in, gang. Franco, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna romp it home. I think that it's going to be one of those scenarios where we will snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. We will be thinking, how can we lose this? This is crazy, and then come storming home is my prediction.
Lats?
I'm going to go Sharks 28-24 with Marween Harodi to score the match-winning try.
Fair enough. Now, we got a few tips in here. Cecil is saying that we'll be 14 up at half time and then at least 40 by full time. So that's a fair bit of confidence. I didn't see a tip from Harley earlier on. Harley typically is pretty quick in with a tip.
Tipping.
We know Harley the Cowboys.
Oh, Harley's tipping the Cowboys. Just can't believe Harley's jumping off the Sharks bandwagon here. Kevin Coyle is tipping the Sharks by 18. Stuart Campbell says the Sharks by 2 because that's all that matter. And then the admin lady says Cowboys by 14. And she has pointed out, and we love you, admin lady. She also says I'll do the Cowboys.
We did until that comment.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, she's saying the Cowboys are going to win. Oh, yeah, screw you, Cowboy lady. Yeah, how's your team going? Yeah, they're last. Chris,
beat the Broncos, though.
And then, that's true. No, thanks. The Parramatta have got a surprisingly good record against the Broncos in Brisbane. It's one of those anomaly matches they frequently win. Dev Era in the comments says Cowboys prefer defence not to be an option in their games, but they can score from anywhere. They can certainly see that. Chris, your tip?
I'm going to go, it's pretty good. I'm going to go up by 12.
Second that.
32. I was going to go 30-18, but I'll go 32-20.
Fair enough. All right, 32-80. Your tip's pretty good. Oh, goodness me. What can you possibly say to that? All right, on to the next segment. Chris, give us an intro.
Oh, an intro. I can't believe I got to do I haven't got a Hogan voice at the moment. Well, it kind of sounds like a Hogan voice. But listen here, Mean Gene. What you going to do when Boldo's tears runs wild on you? Boldo a couple other Boldo maniacs took his vitamins and came up with these tears. Problem is with the Sharks, there's quite a few Indigenous players, so I hope it's not too much Hogan-like and more against Hogan's opponents. God rest to God bless the soul of Hulk Hogan, the immortal, the Hall of Famer, the guy that put wrestling on the map. And you know what? The tears just does not do this for us. So without further ado, Boldo is going to turn heel just like Hogan did. Bash of the Beach 1997 and give us his tears.
That's right. This is Boldo's Tears, Sharks player rankings. So what we do every month is we get a group of us together that aren't panelists on the show, and we rank where we think the Sharks players are performing based on their position, how much we think we're paying them, and whether or not they're giving us what we would expect for them. And it is the Hulk Hogan opponents theme tiers. So the theme is Boldo's players tiers, brother. So Hulkamania themed. So without further ado, let's get into it. So it's going to be Hulk Hogan's opponents as the theme. So the idea is that don't take the theme is just a bit of fun stuff we do on the left-hand side, but the right-hand side is where we're ranking the Sharks players. So it is the Sharks players. Yes?
Not always.
Well, not always. All right, so Hulk Hogan's first biggest opponent, well, that was Gorka Media, and they're gone. So Kate Dykes and Liam Ison, well, I don't know where you guys are. We haven't seen you at all. So Gorka Media is the website group that published the video of Hulk Hogan, which he sued them, and then they went absolutely bankrupt and went bust. So sorry, Gorka. Go on. All right, so Kate Dykes and Liam Ison, you aren't even on the tiers this month. Now, there's a couple of other guys that are also not on the tiers. And that's the NWO B team, because the NWO B team, these were the bunch of the guys that were in Hulk Hogan's stable, but didn't even get to hang out with Hulk Hogan. And so that's Mahawina Roddy, Big Tukes, and Michael Gabriel, because you guys, you're in the B team and you aren't coming into the top team anytime soon. Sorry, lads. All right, let's get on to the tiers. All right. The first player on the Sharks player tiers is Daniel Atkinson, and he's Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And why is he Brutus the Barber Beefcake? Because Beefcake was kind of buddies with Hogan. He changed his name a few times. He got into a few matches, but he never really hung around for a great length of time. Didn't really contribute much, never really anything much longer than 8 minutes. So, Daniel Atkinson, you're Brutus the Barber Beefcake. On to the next. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, Hulk Hogan never actually wrestled against Stone Cold Steve Austin, which makes it a little bit of a shame. So, and that's the problem that we've got with Tommy Calero and Stone Street. And of course, Stone Street has to be on the Stone Cold Steve Austin road because they've got the same name. And sadly, we're not getting to see Hazelton, Calero, and Stone Street in first grade at the moment, which I think is a bit of a shame. So they're on the Stone Cold Steve Austin tier. On to the next. The Dungeon of Doom. These guys, well, goodness me. The Dungeon of Doom was a stable from the WCW wrestling in the 1990s that were trying to be scary. You never really thought what you were going to get, but really, quite frankly, you didn't get much out of them. And that's what we're getting out of BHU. Cam, goodness me, you look like you could fit in with these guys, Cam, with your post-show images. Ramian, pass the damn ball. Oregon and Chris Vaiella. I'm still not sure how you didn't manage to kick cut on that break on the weekend. On to the next. Sting. Sting, one of the great Hulk Hogan opponents. And why is it Sting? Because sometimes Sting turns up and he's an enigma and he's brilliant. And then other times, well, he's not really there and you're not sure what you're going to get out of him. And he turns up with a baseball bat and doesn't really do much. On to the next. Stan Hansen. So Hulk Hogan wrestled Stan Hansen in Japan in 1990. And this match was considered to be Hulk Hogan's greatest ever match. Now, Stan Hansen was a bit of a brawler, underrated wrestler. And I'm calling you, Jesse Colhoun and Billy Burns, the Stan Hansen of Boldo's Tears this month, because you're a bit unheralded, unheard of, and people should talk about you a little bit more, Stan Hansen. On to the next. The Mega Powers. Why are Sione Katoa and Teague Wilton called the Mega Powers? Because the Mega Powers, all the talk about them was always they're going to explode. And I think Sione Katoa is going to get over his injury and Teague Wilton's going to have a good final series and he's coming into form as these guys come back. So I'm saying, you boys, you're going to explode. On to the next. The Outsiders. Chris's boys. Ronaldo and Britton Nickera. Just proven performers. Just super tall, super cool dudes. Just get the job done. They come in and have some stuff, score some tries, do some stuff. They're not the top guys in the faction, but they're absolutely critical to the team, and everyone wants to be mates with these guys. On to the next. The Ultimate Warrior, the Hulk Hogan opponent from WrestleMania 6. And so why are Toby Rudolph and Talakai considered the Ultimate Warrior? Because they come in with a lot of power, but actually they can't go a full match like the Ultimate Warrior, who could really only do a 9-minute match in wrestling. On to the next. Vanilla Blake. Well, he's got to be Andre the Giant, doesn't he? Like the immovable object. Aiden Vanilla Blake. Well, actually, Andre the Giant's the immovable object. Aiden Vanilla Blake, he's got to be the irresistible force, as Gorilla Monsoon said at WrestleMania 3. Vanilla Blake's hit-ups have just been absolutely brilliant. On to the next. Ric Flair, your Nico Hines. So of Hogan's opponents, Nico Hines gets to be Ric Flair because he's styling and profiling, gets all the girls like Ric Flair does. He's kind of got the long locks of the long hair. But Ric Flair was always playing number 2 to Hogan and never really got the job done. And sadly, Nico, you're great, but we haven't gotten the job done with you last. And obviously, Hulk Hogan can't be number 1 of his opponents. So, obviously, we all knew that Blake Brayley was going to be the top of the tiers. And so, we had to work out, well, who's the appropriate wrestler to go alongside Blake Brayley? And, well, it's got to be Goldberg, doesn't it? And for a couple of reasons. One is Blake Brayley is on a streak of consecutive matches. And Bill Goldberg had the longest winning streak in wrestling. Now, the second one is that also he's on a streak of winning the tiers, so I decided I'd make it Goldberg. I could have also made it Undertaker in his streak as well, but I decided not to. So that is the player tiers for this month. Coming into it, the Hulkamania-themed player tiers of Hulk Hogan's opponents. Chris, your initial reaction to the wrestling Hogan opponent tiers?
I think you've done the best tiers you've done so far, but the only fail, of course, was you said you couldn't name Blake Brayley Hulk Hogan himself, but you could have named him Mr. America.
I could have called him Mr. America. This is true. Or you know what I could have called him as well? Thunderlips is here.
Thunderlips, yeah, from anyone knows from the Rocky movie. So
Could have called him Thunderlips. And what do you make of the player positions? Anyone stand out for you?
No, I think you're spot on this time. And it's a great wrestling theme, and I'm pretty sure everyone's in the spots. I totally agree.
Yeah, I had, geez, Will and Trindle are just getting hammered, aren't they, Lats, on where they're sitting on these tiers. What's your take on them?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I think you've got this set of tiers bang on. I think everyone's where they need to be. Will and Trindle. Oh, look, where's the form gone? Where is the form gone? Will was so electric at the start of the season. And to see that dissipate when he's chasing a contract is quite underwhelming. But mate, this is another strange looking implement, this set of tiers. But
and I just realised I've typoed Brutus Beefcake as well. Sorry, Anik. That's why I need you to proof my stuff.
No, mate, you've got this one bang on. And I thoroughly enjoyed that trip down wrestling memory lane. I would have liked to seen a bit of Latino heat in there, maybe an Eddie Guerrero matchup, but
I don't think Eddie Guerrero ever wrestled Hulk Hogan, so
I think he did, didn't he?
The list. I don't know. We can probably look that one up. Franco, what's your take?
Yeah, look, I'm not a big wrestling fan. My Hulk was green with purple shorts. That said, I was promised Sergeant Slaughter, and he's not here. So what do we do here? I think we've got to move the Ultimate Warrior up to the top there, sliding everyone down because the Ultimate Warrior is the best on this list as far as I'm concerned. Andre the Giant maybe moves up to second, and then that would be my adjustments. As for the players, look, yeah, pretty good. I would probably look at moving Katoa up. I think he's been performing pretty well, and Billy Burns, although he hasn't been getting the minutes, I wouldn't mind moving him up into that Mega Powers slot. As for the rest, yeah, probably pretty good judge at this stage.
Matty, can you make any sense of that as a non-wrestling person, or are you just sitting there going, what did I just watch?
I have less awareness of wrestling than Franco does, but what I can say, and this is referencing a comment, if you'd like to bring it up, was Stuart Campbell's talking about the structure, and yes, it was mentioned that it's an odd shape. This is your oddest shape yet. There's a bit of a shaft going up, but we won't go any further than there. But from what I've gathered,
looks like a butt plug.
If you look at it, it's actually an arrow pointing down with Atkinson as the tip of that spear. So I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean the team is going down, given it is a bit bottom heavy? We do like it to be more top heavy with players. We've got a lot in the Dungeon of Doom there, and Will and Trindle, we want to be higher than the very low layer that they are. But I think I do agree with most of those placements. Just an interesting shape again. We do need quite a few of those players to move up in whatever way they can.
Dean in the comments says that Nico should be the Ayatollah of rock and roller. That is, of course, in reference to Chris Jericho. Stuart Campbell said, yeah, Trindle down, Cam up, which is fair. And Anik in the comments saying, we could have had Rowdy Roddy Piper or even The Rock. Yes, I could have had both of those too. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty easy to rank the Sharks players this time in terms of who's performing and who's in and out of form. I think Vanilla Blake's actually regressed a little bit. So I was originally going to put him second and then moved him down at the last minute. So look, we'll see what comes of it going into the finals. We'll have one more set of tiers before the finals, and then we'll have
Was it a Freudian slip there, Boldo? Instead of saying the unstoppable force, you said the irresistible force. Is there something you want to tell us?
No, the irresistible force is the reference of the commentary from Cronulla Monsoon at WrestleMania 3. He says the irresistible force meets the immovable object. So it is drawing that
irresistible.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's what it is, isn't it, Chris?
Oh, geez. Yeah. Say yes. I'm not going to deny.
No, the immovable force. No, the immovable object meets the irresistible force. That's what it is.
Unstoppable.
Come on,
No,
That's
it's not
okay.
unstoppable.
The
Not
unstoppable
unstoppable.
juggernaut. I get it. Come on.
Anyway, all right, that's Boldo's Hulk Hogan themed tiers. So let's move on to the NRLW, shall we? Lads, the Sharks girls got the job done in a nail-biting affair against the West Tigers that looked very Sharks-esque. I called out that winger Tigers, Caitlin Turnbull, I thought was an absolute gun. Next up is the Broncos on Saturday up at Magic Round. Jada Taylor still not back for the Sharks. We've got a couple out due to concussion protocols. Chris, the NRL girls, what'd you make of their Tigers match?
Yeah, I mentioned to you guys during the match, it was very Sharks-esque where they were just trying to lose the game there, especially in the depths. It was just frustrating, but they take the win. The Tigers, with our old show friend of Brett Kamali was there on the sideline. We were talking to him with beers after his presentation that night. Kezi Apps tore us apart down that centre position as well, playing as a lanky second rower and finding that winger that you like so much. I just think we're just not putting teams away, and there's just a little bit of polish missing on our team at the moment. I don't know what it is, but there are quite a few injuries, concussions. We copped a few more during this game. It was to both teams. Got a lot of injuries and concussions, but there's just a little bit of. It was very much like the men's game on Saturday night against South, where we should have scored a lot more, and it just didn't happen. So hopefully the girls, it's just a building block and going from there. Whereas a few other teams are looking a bit scary. Say the Roosters, and also like you said, Brisbane coming second. And I think there's another undefeated team running around out there as well. But the Roosters are quite the powerhouse as defending premiers at the moment. So hopefully it's a building block. But Jada did say to you that she was going to be back for Magic Round, but obviously she's not quite ready yet. So
or hasn't been picked.
Those.
What do we make of the concussions for the NRLW Sharks team? I was worried and alarmed. I said, oh, this is not good for a few of them coming off on that. Anyone want to offer up an opinion on that, or are we not wanting to touch it?
Sure.
In what way?
I
just
just
talk about it.
Oh, it's not more technique. It's more. There's a lot more. Let's say different in sizes. It's kind of like watching a juniors game out west. There's a lot more sort of bigger, stronger, fitter girls, and a lot more girls who are quite skillful and just putting themselves in wrong positions. We saw one of our young girls obviously cop a no shot, but then West Tigers big prop caught one right in the head as well, putting a bad technique on and getting run over the top. So there's a little bit of weight and height difference going on in the NRLW, which will probably sort itself out. But they're obviously out there trying to prove a point that the girls can play the same sort of contact sport as well. So they're a bit of their worst own enemy at the moment, but it seems to be a common theme going around, but maybe just more protective of the girls as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good take, Chris. Harley say the comment saying Jada Taylor will be coming back in NRLW round 6. And then Harley, oddly enough, is not tipping the Sharks this week. Is that what that comment says there? Harley, of course. Oh, I can't do that to you, Harley. Harley, of course, is tipping the Sharks girls and the boys. Never tips against the beloved Sharkies. All right, on to the next. Following that match last week, was going around on the chat on the Discord of whether or not this was the worst Sharks win ever. And Matty said, no, it is not. So here to talk to us about what he thinks is the worst Sharks win ever is a fun fact about that match. Matthew?
Well, I had a few honourable mentions before that because he put it out there. I didn't see what other people had commented on, but some other bad matches I thought that I was going to actually touch on one while we're doing the Cowboys preview was there was a game back in early 2001. We were playing against the Cowboys that were the eventual Wooden Spooners that year, and we were trailing them 10-6 at home at halftime on a Saturday night at Shark Park. I remember the feeling in the crowd was very restless. This is the 2001 side that, yes, Matt Rogers was injured, and yes, Preston hadn't moved to the halves yet, but was by and large the freewheeling John Lang era team that was really struggling against this horrific Cowboys side. And we snuck home 24-16, but it was a couple of late tries that got us there after I think we were trailing up even with 10 minutes to go. So that was a poor one. Another one was 2017, early on against the horrible Knights team that were on their way to 2 or 3 or 4 wooden spoons a row, whatever it was. And we snuck home against them 19 points to 18. But this one in 2006, it was a beauty of terrible proportions. We won against the eventual wooden spooners, South Sydney. We won 24 points to 22. So I was incorrect with the score. 26-24 was actually 24-22. We led 20 points to 6 half time. It was Luke Douglas's debut match. So there's some fun fact. And he did score a try in that one. But the fun fact is, who played for Cronulla the year before in the game against South in the David Peachy and Jason Stevens farewell match that we lost to them and scored, and then went to Souths and scored for Souths against us?
Nathan Merritt.
Yep.
You would think that, but it was
No,
not.
it's not.
Merritt left at the end of 04.
Colin
Chris
Best.
Kelly. Close. It was not. I could give you a hint that may give it away.
Well, it wasn't Russell Richardson. He was a bit before that.
It's not Peachy himself, is it?
No, it's
No,
not
it's
Peachy
not
himself.
Peachy.
He
So
left
they played
end
for
of-
us in 2004, and then in 2005 they played for
No,
them.
they played for us in 05, and then they played for Souths in 06 against us. Merritt did score for Souths.
Oh, they played for us in 05.
Yeah.
So they were in the 06 Rabbitohs team.
And here's an answer. They had 2 stints at Cronulla, two stints at Cronulla and 2 stints at South Sydney. A bit of a journeyman.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Goodwin.
No.
Oh, I'll give up.
Kick yourself. He scored a great intercept try in that game in 05. And this one, I can't remember the try that he scored for Souths at all, but obviously he scored. He played in the centres.
Put us out of our misery, Williams.
Paul Mellor.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Paul Mellor. So some other fun facts from that game. Tavita Latu scored a try for us. This was a few weeks before the
I love Paul
indiscretion
Miller.
that he partook in.
Potato chip incident.
Yeah, that one at the
Paunch it.
survey. David Simmons was the fullback. Darren Albert was on one of the wings. Bo Scott and Phil Bailey were the centres. Luke Cavell, what was his kicking stat that day? He's a final one, I suppose. We're up 20-6 at halftime, and we snuck home.
Didn't he miss all of them?
Yeah, it was 2 from 5. It was horrible. Classic Cavell.
Yep.
And we had props of Ben Ross, Hutchmaibar, Kevin Kingston, the hooker, Dykes and Kamali in the halves, and Reece Williams, Lance Thompson, Greg Bird as the back row, and a bench of Cameron Serraldo, Luke Douglas, Matt Hilda, and Tavita Latu. So yeah, it was I remember that they played up Cronulla, of course, and I don't think anyone sang. I think we just all walked out and went, that was horrid.
Yeah.
It's happened
Thanks
a
for
few times.
coming.
Sorry, Kelly.
Stuart Campbell calls out the draw in 2013 as the worst Sharks game ever. But
That was that I know the one he's talking about. 2013, we beat the Roosters at home on a Monday night. That was the Chris Heinington interceptor 1-1 steal or whatever on halftime. The one in 2012 was a draw. I think it was 10-all, and that was dire. That was, I think, extra time there. It was Todd Carney on our side and maybe Mitch Pearce on their side, just trying to kick field goals from 45 out and not even going close. And both teams were offering nothing.
all right. And then rugby league circles today, Chad Townsend has marked his or announced his retirement. And with Toilet Inspector, actually, our first comment of the evening saying, congratulations to Warrior 186, Chad Townsend on his retirement after a solid 15-year career. Lats, what's your take on Chad Townsend's NRL legacy and time with the Sharks?
Yeah, mate. Look, I just wanted to say thanks to Chad for his service and thanks for everything he's done for us when we've played against him. Look, no, Chad's awesome. I was pretty gutted when we lost him over to the Warriors. It was good to see him come back. Not local junior, only fitting to see him in that premiership side, and he's probably got the best head of hair in the NRL.
It was good that he came back to us, Franco, for that. He is one of the not so great halfbacks to win a premiership, but it was good that he came back, wasn't it?
Yeah, same as Lats. I was upset when we lost him to the Warriors, and pretty happy when he came back. We were a bit of a rabble when he left, so probably wouldn't have been a good grounding for him if he had stayed.
What's wrong with Jeff Robson?
No, just everything was all over the place. I do remember playing well at the Warriors and him basically being Fatty's underrated favourite. He kept calling Townsend out as this great little halfback, and that was always cool to see. And I remember before him leaving to go to the Warriors, I had a bit of a holiday. I was staycation at home because family were visiting, and a random weeknight we were out at, I think it was Sting Bar, and it was empty. And obviously being a Wednesday night or whatever night it was, about 11 p.m. And it was just me and a couple of family members in there having a drink. And on the other corner was Townsend and Gallen having a chat. And for someone who lives in the Shire and is constantly in Cronulla, I very rarely see any players. And it was really cool to see them over there. And, you know, you always, oh, do I go in and say g'day or leave them alone? And I was like, nah, leave them alone. And there was the rumours about whether or not he would stay or go. And I was wondering, is Gallen trying to tell him to stick around? What's going on there? But that was just cool watching them sitting in the corner there having a bit of a chat. And yeah, glad he came back. I always felt he got a bit of a bad rap from some corners of the Sharks fandom, but local junior that brought home the premiership, he's always going to be very welcome to me as far as being considered a Sharks legend. Probably wouldn't make my top 10 players, but as far as contributions to the club, he's right up there. So well done, Townsend, on what a great career you've had. And I'm sure we'll see you around in the future, whether it be coaching or media or something, mate. You seem to always be trying something and have your finger on the pulse.
Let's get him on the podcast. Get him on the ET stand.
Got his own, mate.
He'd probably come on it, actually. We'll send him an invite next season. All right. Now, just a couple last word, Matty. I'm going to throw to you on.
I have two last words. But on Chad, he scored the second highest amount of field goals for the club with 10, which is only second to a guy called Terry Hughes, who'd played for us. Not the Canterbury Terry Hughes, but one that played for us in the early days, 67 and 1970. He got kicked 13. Chad kicked 10. I distinctly remember his debut against the Bulldogs at Homebush in 2011. Came in, was a bit of a super coach cash cow. Didn't have the same raps as Russell Aiken, but was seen as a local great hope. And I distinctly remember his final match for the club too in the depths of COVID in 2021, kicking a field goal in Golden Point against the Dragons at Cogra before departing. It was kind of like the club gave him one final crack. There was a lot of attention on him in a negative way. And he moved on with a mid-season transfer to the Warriors. So, thank you, Chad. As they always, as everyone has said, always a premiership player. And I distinctly one final memory of him. I think my favourite match of his was the round 2 2016 game against the Dragons at Shark Park, where he scored a try, set up that other try to Valentine, had an absolute blind day. And I remember our prominent viewer and Discord commenter, Hugh Cox, messaging me during that game and said, Chad's playing better than Maloney and David Fafita is playing better than Andrew Fafita. Obviously, things changed over the course of that season with that regard, but it was a nice little Sunday afternoon there. But
he was pleased to be back, Chad, wasn't he, in that match? So
he was pleased to be back. And he was never going to win a premiership on his own, off his own bat. He needed, obviously, he was an organizer. You needed someone like James Maloney next to him, but he was at the peak of his career at that period during 2016. Got 7 tries that year, had the dab against Melbourne, scored a prominent try in the prelim final against the Cowboys after being hooked 2 weeks before. So yes, I think he and that that pass inside from Maloney was marginal, but we'll take it for Chad to score there, and his emotion there shown, and even the words that Peter Sterling said to him afterwards was obviously quite pronounced. So he was a prominent player. Anyway, he's played 268 first grade games, obviously doing something right. So thanks, Chad. But the other thing I was going to talk about on a side point regarding some, I suppose, less nice news is I know that all of us have had a look at the League Unlimited forums over the years. I know I commented there back in, 03 to 05 to 07-ish or something like that. Lurker ever since, haven't really commented, but they're probably their most pronounced poster, Frenzy. Matt, I'm not sure his last name, passed away the other day. So our best wishes to his family. Obviously, he had a big impact on a lot of people over there. So expressing condolences there. And Lats as well was saying that someone else has passed in the Shark supporting community recently.
Yeah, mate, one of the big jersey collectors, vintage jersey collectors and big Sharks fan, Tate, passed away So all the best wishes to his family during these hard times, and to Matt's, and just
Did take two
terrible times,
videos? Or
He did more posts on social media, so he followed up. He had more like he's got a lot of rare jerseys that will make Ash quite jealous, and I know they've got a relationship. I've also got a mate who's really good friends with him, and he's father of a young child, so they're doing a fundraiser coming up this weekend, and it's a bit of a sudden passing as well. So a couple of tough ones. We lost some greats, including those two guys and Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan. It's been a tough week in the
just a comment from me on Frenzy. I remember having great discussions with him about the Sharks. And look, we all have a love for this football club, and you don't always see eye to eye with the people on the forums. But he's a terrific presence on those online forums, and that platform will certainly be weaker for his loss and not being around commenting on the Sharks stuff. He's always pretty pumped up and amped. So from all of us on the ET stand, our thoughts and feelings are with all of you characters through these tough times. You never know when your time is your time. So I just want to say to my four mates on this show, you are absolute legends, and I absolutely appreciate everything you do to help us build this show together. So I might be a pain in the ass sometimes, fellas, but we love doing this and we have a great time doing it. So that being said, Sharks will play the Cowboys on Sunday at 4:05 p.m. Most of us, I think maybe we'll be there in the ET stand. If you see us, come say g'day. We'll be live after full time. I don't know whether it'll be straight after full time or how long it'll take us to get home, but we'll get that up later in the week with the announcement on that time. Sharkies are looking good. They're on a streak. We're heading towards the finals. We'll see you guys on Sunday. Up Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.